All right, cool bananas. Let's get into it. So, hi, 1% Better Friends and Family. Today we've got Lloyd back on the channel. So, Lloyd, you did a collaboration with me on the Sex at Dawn video, which was pretty awesome.
Did.
Now we're gonna dig deep into the art of picking up girls and just do this via conversation style. So, why not? Let's get into it. You ready?
I'm ready. I'm excited.
All right. So I think a great place to start is I want to know more about your story because a lot of guys in the modern world, as you know, we don't really get taught this stuff growing up, like from our fathers or anything. We don't really have a
Right.
father figure. So, I don't know what the statistics are, but it's probably like something like 90% of guys either don't have the natural vibe to get girls or just haven't even heard of like cold approaching or pickup. Like the average guy just
Yeah.
doesn't do that. So I'm curious, like, what got you on that bandwagon? Are you a natural or did you develop yourself? Where was the first initial point of contact with this whole pickup thing?
It's cutting out a little bit. Can you see me?
Yes.
Is everything going okay?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just cut out for a little bit. Okay, so
Okay.
definitely for sure I grew up I was in high school, I was definitely shy, introverted. The only thing that I was really comfortable with doing, cool with doing a couple things. I was comfortable playing soccer. I was very into playing soccer, and I spent a lot of time uh also in my studies too. So in college, I did physics and I played soccer. And in high school, that's pretty much all I did too. And I was good at both of those things. But when it came to talking to women or any of that stuff, I froze up. Like I was real bad at it. In fact, there was a couple real embarrassing moments that I remember from high school. I remember one time I asked a girl out to prom in front of the entire class because I was so sure she would say yes. Like all my friends were telling me she would say
Mm.
yes. And she said no to me in front of an entire classroom. And a lot of the pickup guys, they tell you, you should try and go out and find as many rejections as you can get so you can become kind of immune to rejection. And that's good advice. Not when you're in a high school,
Gotcha.
not when you're in a high school full of people that
Yes.
are talking about it later. So that sucked. And then in college, I thought, okay, this is the time where I'm going to really hit my stride, where I'm going to make moves and I'm going to really get the girls that I want. I was going to a top 10 party school. I was going to UC Santa Barbara. I was really excited about it. So I went there and I got no success again. It was really for the first 3 years, man. I was struggling. Like
Mm.
it took like there would be months I wasn't getting laid. There was like I think 6 months was a time and period where I wasn't getting laid, and it was like when you're at a school where there's hot girls passing by you constantly. Like I would ride my bike to my physics class, to my quantum mechanics class, and I would see like four stunning girls
Uh-huh.
smile at me, and I would just like, you fall in love really briefly, and you're like looking,
Yes.
looking. That would happen to me like 4 or 5 times every single time I bike to class. So it's just like and you're like, yeah, I really got to figure this out. So around senior year, I decided that I physics wasn't for me. I was gonna kind of try and be more social. So I started going out and partying a little bit. I had some success in college, but not a lot.
Mm.
And I thought I was kind of good, but when I graduated, typically what happens when you graduate from college is you realize you go into the world and now you're competing against guys who are like, in their late 20s, who have jobs, who
Hmm.
are very competent. And you're just, the women are not, they realize that they can get a lot better. And so
Mm.
it's very tough when you first come out of college. And it hit me really hard. Like I didn't get laid for a really long period of time.
Hmm.
And it wasn't until that um, I really decided that I was going to go out consistently and push myself. Um, that I really started to make some progress. And I had one coach help me out.
Hmm.
I think he helped me, but I think it was just more of me pushing myself and going out consistently. I was going out 5 or 6 nights a week for 3 years straight. And I did this every single week.
Wow.
Sometimes I would go out 7 nights a week. I
Okay.
went out a lot and I was working full time while I did this. So I was out,
Shit.
work kind of tired, but um, I did this. And during this period of time, I slept with a couple hundred women or something like that.
Yeah.
Really pushed myself. I obviously you start out really slow.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
um, and more and more as I started going out, I started realizing the things that worked, the things that didn't work. Wasn't easy, definitely was tough at times. And I feel like a lot of what I produce in my videos are me are me talking to myself back when I was around 20 years old, when I first started going out to the bars, when I first started going out and really getting serious about meeting women.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think about all the videos that I was watching at that point in time. I think about, all the stuff that the RSD guys were telling me, and some of it was good, some of it's really good, but some of it's not. And I think a lot of the problems that we're seeing today are as a result of kind of some of the bad information that was spread back then, or just the incomplete information.
Right, cool. Thanks for that. So we've got a lot of shit to work with
I know
here.
it was a little long. I don't know if that's what you wanted.
No, don't worry. No expectations here. We just vibe. So I like it. I like it. So cool. We've got a lot of point of references we can draw on. So I'd like to rewind, based on that summary. I'd love to rewind back to the very early stages, because the reality is, a lot of my audience listening right now, we're in our 20s. We're 20-year-old men, according to my demographic analytics and the people I talk to regularly. So I know my audience relatively well, and there's a lot of guys sitting in their chairs right now, whether they want to admit it or not, but they may be virgins, or they may have girlfriends and they've had sexual experiences, but they've never actually sort of been in that real dating scene as a single, having to push themselves, go out there and get a girl. Some guys might get lucky, and it might just sort of happen for them. I won't deny that happens. But when it comes to actually, really pushing yourself out there, you have to come out of your comfort zone. I think that's sort of where I want to begin. So I'm wondering, in your experience, do you remember where like the turning point was? Like, you'd think when you get your first ever lay that where you initiated the conversation with a girl and you actually led her. Was there sort of a point there where you got your first reference experience that was like, holy shit, this is amazing? Like
my first win, where I was like, yeah, this is a win.
Yeah.
Okay. So I had a couple wins in college, but the amount of, based on how unsuccessful I was when I graduated college, it took me a little bit of time before I first got that win. And I had gotten kind of lucky a few times where it was like, I don't really know how this went down.
Okay.
But there was one time where I was out, and I had been just kind of like, gone to the same bar a few times. And I was with my buddy, and I just remember seeing the night that I had and the night that he had. So he was just kind of following me around and doing the same things. We come from like the same area. We work in the same company, and I was doing things that was different than him. We started out in the same spot at the beginning of the night. By the end of the night, I had a couple girls' phone numbers, and I was like going back and forth between people that I had literally just met. And it was like, I was a really popular and well-known person in the bar, and these were all my friends. But I didn't know them before the night had even happened. And then I ended up taking home a girl that I thought was, at the time, was really cute. So it was more seeing the difference between our two nights that I really started to see, oh, okay, like I'm making progress. Because sometimes like you're doing this every single day, and you don't realize that you're making progress. Even if I hadn't taken that girl home, I actually don't think she slept with me then. I think I took her home and nothing happened.
Sure.
But it was just seeing like the difference in our nights. It was seeing that like, wow, like I've actually made some progress and I have some skills. I went out with a guy who, is just as good, if not better looking than me. We came from the same area. It was just that I'd worked on myself, gone out and done the things that I'd worked on, and I was actually better. And that was the first time that I actually really saw that.
Okay. Could you possibly recall the details of, like, specifically from the starting point of walking in to initiating like the first move?
Yeah, I definitely can. So I can remember going into the bar. I'm trying to like picture it right now. Typically, I don't. A lot of guys out there are going to tell you that the first thing that you got to do is make that approach and get out of the way. I actually never do that. I kind of like to relax a little bit and talk to my buddy for a little bit, and then if we see like some girls at the bar or whatever, then we'll go up and make a move. So we started out the same. We started talking to each other the same. We're probably talking about girls, talking about the thing that we're about to do. And then as soon as I got a drink, I think I just got a beer or something at the bar. I walked up to a couple of the girls, found out if they lived in San Francisco. They're like, yeah, and you're just talking to them normally.
Okay.
And then I remember I did this one move that like was at the time was I'd never done this before. Surprised that I did it. Was that they talk about like merging sets. I just kind of think of it as people meeting people, where it's like, you know, you have a group of girls and then you have another group of girls here.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to talk to the other girls over there, but I was already talking to these girls right here, and I didn't want to be rude. So while I was while one of the girls were like having a conversation, I just kind of said hi to the group of girls that was near me. And we ended up bringing the two groups of girls together. And what's fun is that the group of girls that I was talking to before thought that I already knew the girls that I said hi to.
Oh, okay.
But hi to thought that I knew the girls that I was talking to already. So they're under this impression that I'm this like super popular guy. I walked in there with one friend, which was many less friends than they walked in with.
Yeah, right.
So, you know, I did a couple of these things that I was like, wow, like this is, you know, I look legit right now.
Sure.
Where before, like,
yeah,
that wouldn't have happened.
Right. Yeah, sorry to cut you off. We've got a slight delay. But I was going to say, I read one of Mark Manson's books. I think it was called Models or something, How to Attract Women Through Honesty.
Yeah, Models is a big one.
Yeah. So I know in it, I think he said he wasn't too much of a fan of the whole social proofing thing where you go in, just start talking to people and all of a sudden you look like the popular guy. What's your view on that? Do you think it helps just going up to randoms straight away, talking to them, and that gives you that social proof straight off the bat? Or do the girls have to recognize that you're actually with these people, or doesn't it matter?
I don't. So I actually have a video about this where I talk about social circle game. I think social circle game is good and it's bad. Now, what I mean by this is it's good for certain things, depending on what your goals are. It's good, but depending on other goals that you have, it might not be good. If you're going in there to specifically try and raise your value by talking to a bunch of different people, and that's your primary goal is, okay, I'm going to raise my value and then I can just pick the chick that I want. That's not how it works. That's not really going to happen. That takes a really long time to be able to do. If you're going to try and build up a social circle where you can just kind of pick the girls that you want and do the things that some people claim that they can do, which is this, they go out and they don't really have to talk to any new girls or anything like that, that's going to take you a while. You're going to need to build up a social circle for months. And I just don't think it's practical for the average guy because, look, the average guy is working a job. They don't have time to be dedicating. People that are successful at doing that sort of stuff, they spend every day doing that. They spend a lot of time every day doing that. They're on their phones a lot. They're constantly talking to people. 99.99999% of the time, they're having a conversation that is not going to lead to sex. They're just having a conversation to have a conversation to, like, you know, have value or whatever. If you're a single guy who's a normal dude going out, that's not a good avenue for you to go down because you're spending all this time doing stuff that's actually not going to produce the results for you. So, you know, you want to do the 20% of the things that are going to produce the 80% of the results. And when you're doing social circle game, oh my God, like you have no idea what that 20% is going to be. It's just going to be a bunch of time that you're spending doing mostly nothing. So I would recommend that you go out and talk to the girls that you want to talk to. But at the same time, I do think that you should be friendly. You should make friends when you go out. Not every conversation that you have has to be leading to sex, but you do have to be, don't make your goal to be, okay, first I'm going to get value and social value, and then I'm going to get the hot girls that I want. It should be, you should just get the girls that you want, and then you're kind of being social and fun during as well, and making friends that way.
Okay. Next question is regarding expressing sexual intent covertly. So very in your face. Like you see the RSD guys do this. They'll just start, they'll have them out in the street and they're describing how they're going to fuck them and all that. And for a lot of guys, and including myself, that would be a really big jump. So how do you know when to take things from just sort of messing around conversation to actually expressing something sexually?
Okay, so I do want to make a comment. So you made a comment, like, you see the RSD guys doing these in the videos. Okay, the infield footage that they have is compiled from hundreds of hours of them going out and fucking up. Okay, hundreds of hours. Maybe you guys don't know this. I'm actually kind of friends with RSD Jeffy from RSD. The main guy who I hang out with is this guy he's called Evil Stifler. He's not really associated with the company. He's just a guy that's gone out with them. I'm not joking. He's better than most of the instructors. Probably better than all the instructors. So they're editing this from hours and hours of footage, and they're obviously going to pick the video where they're saying the most ridiculous, absurd things. And you can get away with them in certain circumstances, but for 99% of the interactions that you're having, they're probably not saying that, or if they are saying it, they're just saying it as a goof.
Okay.
Like it doesn't work. Um, but if you are trying to show sexual intent, the best way I think to do it is just with your body. It doesn't really matter what you say so much, which is why they can get away with a lot of those things. The girl's already into them. The girl's already with it. They can say silly stuff and she's just going to laugh and think it's hilarious. So the way I would express sexual intent is I like to do it with my body, or I like to do it with kind of like a facial smile or a smirk or something like that. I think you show sexual intent physically because sex is a physical action. If you just start talking in a monotone voice like, I would like to caress your hair and then make sweet love. It's not very sexual.
Yeah.
But if you're kind of coming off and you can feel this kind of energy, then it's going to work a lot better.
Right. So I take it you can express sexual intent with your body by A, bodily contact with a woman, or B, just you don't even have to make contact with her, but it's the way you, maybe your posture, your stance, your facial expression. Is there a difference between actually initiating physical contact with the girl and standing back and doing your own thing with your body?
Well, they're both kind of the techniques for both are kind of the same. Just the difference is one, you're touching the other. It's kind of like a dance, like if showing sexual intent, when I come in closer to a girl, I'm kind of seeing how she reacts to it. Like typically when I go in close, like my body's straight, like I'm not kind of hunched. If you're hunched over a lot, that's not my chest up like this.
Yeah.
And so when I'm getting in close, I'm kind of seeing how she reacts. If I come forward, is she inching forward too? Is she backing off a little bit? If she backs off a little bit, then I'll back off a little bit too and wait till she's ready, and then I'll come back in. But if she's staying right there, then I might come in a little closer, and then when it gets close enough, then that's the time that you touch her. And I would recommend that if you're touching a girl for the first time, if you're first starting out and this is like you don't know what to do, like how do I start touching a girl? Just go for like high fives and hugs. Do a lot of those, and then you can kind of see where things go from there. So if I hug a girl, like I have no idea where this girl is, I want to see where it's going. Is I'll give her a hug and I'll see how she gives me a hug. If she holds it for an extra second, she's into me. If she does like a hug where she just gives us like one of those, like a pretty pat,
yes.
then she's not that into me, and or she might still be into me. She's just a little shy. Then I might back off a little bit. But if she's either staying put while you're moving forward, or she's giving you a little extra, then you can start touching her. You can start going forward with that.
Right. It seems guys like me, like I know personally, I work very much with words and listening to you and like sort of figuring out in my head, but this sounds like something where you actually have to get involved and feed off the energy of the vibe. Would you say that's more how you have to do it rather than just, I guess we could sit here and ask questions all day, but ultimately you have to go out there and feed off the vibes.
Yeah, ultimately, if you want to have sex with a girl, you got to touch her at some point. So I think most of the sexual stuff comes from the physical contact, but it comes from kind of how the girl's moving too. So I mentioned before that even before I touch her, I see how she's moving towards me. If she's leaning in, if she's really listening. She might even, if a girl like I have one tattoo. If a girl touches this one tattoo that I have, she's really into me. There's a lot of signs that you can do that are not exactly physical, but the person is moving. You can see how they move and how they react to the way you move as well.
Right on. Okay. Now you mentioned like 5 to 6 days a week you'd go out gaming at night after work. So I'm gonna take it. Were you by yourself on many of those nights?
Some of them, yeah. At least once a week, I was by myself. I would try and I would hit up everybody to go out with me. Eventually, when I became friends with Evil Stifler, like he's pretty much always down to go out. So we would go out together like 3 nights a week, I think, together.
Yep.
For like 2 years or something like that.
Okay.
Somewhere around there. But yeah, there was times where I'd go out by myself too.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't actually go out a lot. So are there people out on like Monday and Tuesday nights where you're from, or what?
There are. You got to know where to go though. That's the tough part. So like, this is all for going out at night. So if you're gonna hit on chicks, during the day. Obviously, this doesn't apply, but there's obviously popular spots during the day too. So there was on Monday night there a bar would have like an event like dollar drink night or something. There was a dollar drink night at the bar that I was living right next to. One of the reasons why I live there.
There you go.
So on Mondays I would go there every single day, and the place was packed. On Tuesday, they would have Taco Tuesday at another bar that was like just down the street. So I would go there, and if I didn't have a date or something, then I would go there and talk to girls there. There would be this kind of club event. It was like an underground club that would have stuff going on. They would have an event that night too. Tons of people would be there as well. So I knew about the events that happened every single week, and it took me a little bit of time to figure it out. One of the ways that you can find out when these events are is start paying attention to your Facebook feed and there's a tab in Facebook where you can just look at events. Scroll through as many of those events as you can, see who's actually going to these, see who says they're attending. Obviously, if no one says they're attending the event, don't go. But if you get like a couple hundred people that say that they're going to a certain event on a weekday, that might be a good spot. For events on Facebook.
Okay. Right on. Do you think it's as difficult as most guys think to take a woman home? Do you think I'm just wondering what your general idea is.
It's the hardest and the easiest thing that you'll ever do. If everything's working out for you, like last week, I I went out. I was just hanging out with my buddies. We just hung out all day. Like we were at the park, then we went to get dinner, and then we went. And I brought some girl home from dinner. Like she was just randomly eating like 2 tables away from us.
Okay.
We were just laughing, like making jokes and stuff. And I was like, "What are you doing? Like, come over and eat with us." She came over to eat with us. Came back and watched the fight with us, and then I had sex with her, and then I went out later that night.
Yeah, right.
That would have been an awesome day, even if I hadn't gotten laid, and that was just like the cherry on top. But then I went out this weekend at a club, and I was like, I hit on tons of different girls, and I think I made out with like 3 or 4 or something like that, and I didn't bring anybody home. I probably could have if I did my standards a little lower. I probably could have, but I didn't. But again, that was just a situation where like I tried really, really hard and didn't get the result that I wanted. But the other day I didn't try at all and I got the result that I wanted. It's the hardest and the easiest thing. When the going's good, it's good. When it's bad, it can be pretty bad.
Right. Yeah.
The problem is people are starting from this position where it's always bad.
Yeah.
The day that I'm talking to you about where it was like getting laid was the cherry on top, where it was super easy, was like I had a day where I was hanging out with friends all day, and like they were, I was meeting people just through my friends. I didn't really have to go up and talk to anybody randomly, except for that girl at the restaurant. And she had already been looking over. Like,
okay, so I got to ask this. I love. I don't know. I like to get into the specifics. So. When you took that girl home for dinner or whatever, she's like, "Oh, came back to my place and I did it or whatever." What about the actual initiation when you got home? How do you go from taking her in the door to actually getting her in your bed, like, and start having sex? I mean, that's where I'm cloudy.
Okay, so basically what I did was we were sitting down to watch the fight. We were watching the fight. I was super into the fight. I completely ignored her the entire time. I mean, I kind of already knew she was into me, but I'm really into mixed martial arts, so I was watching it pretty intensely. And then, I mean, I knew she was already with it. I knew she would have been down. She made that clear not from the beginning, but later on, she made that pretty clear. So I basically just said, "Hey, I got some special wine up in my place. Do you want to try it?" And we walked up the steps to my room. We get in the room. And she's like, "Where's the wine?" And I'm like, "I lied. There isn't any." And I just started making out with her.
Nice. Okay. Did you plan that, or was it just like you?
I just made something, dude. Like it was, like it didn't really matter. Like she had, she was already with it, and you just kind of need to make an excuse. It can really be anything. Whatever's in your room. I could have said, "Hey, do you want to check out some of my artwork? I got some cool pictures." But I like to have, if you want to have a good excuse, I used to have like some like top shelf liquor or like really good wine in my room. And then I would just be like, "Hey, you want to try some of this?" It's like, I would talk it up and just say it was really good, and then I would bring them back that way. We'd have a drink, talk a little bit. and then I try and make out with them and try and start touching them. If they were cool with it, then I take it farther.
Sure. Okay. Interesting. I'm trying to stay focused on business this year, Lloyd. I'm trying to stay hyper focused on business. Get that bottom line up.
I'm distracting you.
And then, but it's something I'm naturally curious about. I mean, I'm a 22-year-old guy, recently single. I mean, this whole dating world, it's new to me, but I have been following the RSD guys for a little bit now, and I've seen some of your stuff too. Yeah. So,
well, when I was starting out, dude, like I was 22 as well when I first started. That's when I first started noticing that I was improving. Before then, I was just kind of like running around, not knowing what I was doing. But 22 I was like, I'm actually starting to make progress, and it was in the latter half of 22. So when I turned 22, I would say I wasn't successful. Halfway through 22, I was starting to realize that, okay, I'm making a little bit of progress. And then after the second half, I felt like I was getting worse. And then 23, I felt like I was doing better. It comes in waves. It goes up and down.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's
but the waves are going up.
Sure. That's a whole success curve. It's sort of like, you reach new plateaus every now and then, but you have some downs in between. But it's kind of like an illusion to see that you're going shit, but you're actually just on a new level of shit, if that makes sense. Yeah. So
people can tell you that you can actually get. People don't tell you that you can actually experience a dip after a plateau. And that's when you really feel like shit. You're like, why did I put so much effort into trying to better myself? Like, this is a waste of time. But you're actually improving.
Right. Okay. Now, this, I don't know whether you do coaching like this with students or anything, but like, am I able to describe some approaches I've done on the street here in my local city, Adelaide? Describe the situation, and do you reckon it's possible, purely based off a worded explanation, to give me some pointers on maybe what the girl was feeling or what I maybe did wrong or right?
Yeah, absolutely. Typically, so I do coach people. Typically, if I'm coaching a student, I want him to describe in depth 2 scenarios. Like if he goes out on a Saturday night or a Friday night, I typically only want him to focus on like 2 situations that he was in, 2 interactions that he had with a girl. And not just one where she blows him off immediately, something where something happens where we can talk about it a little bit. Or if all the girls are blowing him off immediately, like I want to know that. We need to start handling that situation. But typically I like to talk more in depth about 1 or 2 situations, as opposed to just having him write me, a 10-paragraph essay about everything that happened in the night, because that's just too much stuff for us to cover. And usually you can pinpoint a person's weaknesses by studying in depth a couple interactions that they're doing. Even just from one, you can see the issues. If you're having issues and they're messing you up, they will pop up in every single thing that you do, because that's just this is how people are.
All right, so cool. I think this would be a great opportunity to sort of to run through that. So I can think of 4 types of approaches I've done, but perhaps we'll stick to 2. And 2 of these are day game approaches. And it's me having I've never done this shit before, but I've got great self-esteem. I'm happy doing my 1% better channel. Like I'm in good spirits, and I have just watched some of this RSD stuff. So I kind of got like a bit of theory behind me.
You already put yourself in the top 10%, dog.
Yeah. Oh, sweet. Okay.
Most people don't do anything.
Yeah, I know, right? I was blown away by the stuff on. Holy shit! People actually, this is teachable. So anyway, So about 20 minutes from where I live about an hour out of the city. So I'm in kind of on the edge of the rural city barrier. So it's pretty quiet out here. So anyway, I go into sort of a very small suburb that's sort of where the city begins to start. So anyway, just to sort of give you a rough picture, I'm down the main street, and I walk into a shoe shop. I think I was going to get some shoes for my trip to Hawaii. So it's a little shoe shop, and there's an attractive girl working out there behind the counter. And so it just started off as a normal customer client interaction or whatever. I walk into the shoe shop and she goes, "Hey, do you need anything?" And I hadn't planned anything. I just walked in there to get some shoes. And I said, "Yeah, I'm looking for some comfy shoes, sort of an all-arounder that I can wear when I go on walks in the mountains, but also just for going out because I'm going to Hawaii." And she goes, "Yeah, sure." So anyway, we're talking just about shoes, nothing out of the ordinary. So the moment I decide to actually, I'm like, you know what? While I'm in the groove and I'm getting along with this girl, just talking casually, why don't I just make this an approach or some shit? So I took the
Yeah.
topic away from just shoes and a fucking job, and I just asked her some deeper questions, like, what do you get up to in your spare time? Do you have any hobbies you're passionate about? And it was just all flying well. I'm like, yeah, and she seemed really into it, and she enjoyed that conversation. She's been standing in the lonely shoe shop like all day. She's bored out of her mind. So
She didn't was she working there?
yes, she was. It was just her.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, and there weren't many customers by the looks of it. Pretty quiet. So
Okay.
we're
Yeah, that's a
talking.
perfect
Yeah.
situation.
Now I don't think there was any at this point. I don't think there was any sort of like, oh, she's into me, Brandon. Oh, nice, you're doing well. It was more just like an authentic, fun conversation. So when we get to the counter, and I'm grabbing my shoes, I thought, fuck it. I've seen in one of those videos where, I don't know, one of the dating guys talked about how if you make it seem like the obvious thing to do, she'll put in a number. So I grabbed out my phone and I said, hey, before I go, could I grab your number? And I literally handed the phone all ready with the contact page out, ready to put a number in. And she goes, yeah, sure. And to me, when I walked out of there and actually got a number, I'm like, holy fuck, is it really that simple? I'm like, what the hell? And I was
My
nervous, man.
Well done.
I was nervous. When I took that phone, I'm like, fuck, but I managed to maintain my composure. I just handed it there and it worked. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? But okay, so here's the thing. Here's what makes it interesting. I don't feel like there was any sort of sexual vibe or really intimate vibe. It was fun, but I feel like it was just more of a friendly thing, and she may have just done it out of, I don't know, do they just do that out of niceness and then ignore you later
Yeah,
on?
she's probably thinking the same thing, dude. I mean, like, she doesn't know where it's going either. She doesn't know if you're thinking about that as well. Like, she doesn't.
Yeah.
She might not even know where she stand on it. She just knows, like, this guy was really cool. I talked to him for a little bit. It'd be cool to meet up with him again.
Mm,
And that's really kind of as far as it can go at that point, or maybe it can go farther. But for most, I think it starts out kind of in that realm.
okay.
And then if you want to take things farther, you totally can.
Right. So basically, I got to take the lead because I didn't have any intentions of actually bringing her home because my living situation's a bit interesting at the moment. But
Yeah.
so do you reckon that's a basic starting point? Like I could text her and go, "Hey, what's up?"
Yeah, totally.
I was just so chuffed to get the number. I didn't even bother texting her back. But who knows? Maybe I'll say something. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, so when it comes to texting at this point, the most important thing is people got to remember the fundamentals of texting, because I don't, a lot of guys, they'll get the number and they kind of want they won't know what to do with it. So your goal, I mean, for this girl, do you want to get her out on a date? Like, what is your plan after this? What, have you come up with a plan yet?
I got no plan. I have no idea.
Okay, so let's assume that you think this girl's cute, you want to take her out on a date, or you want to like go someplace where you guys can hang out. So that would be something to come up with, and maybe start the next time you get a number, or the next time you're in a situation like that, maybe have something ready. So that's why looking up events on Facebook could be good, because there might be something cool happening this weekend that you might want to do, and then ask her if she's interested, or just know about fun things that are happening around you. And that way you have a perfect excuse to take her out this weekend, or to meet up with her, or do something. So maybe the next time you get a number, maybe say, hey, I'm going to, there's a smoothie place that just opened down the street. I think it's really good. Do you want to get a smoothie or a coffee or whatever she's into? And then you can go from there.
Yeah. Okay. Is it normally that simple, or do you reckon that was luck, or is it, how common is that? I don't know.
Well, you had a good situation because, she's obviously bored at that shoe shop, all alone. She probably doesn't get like cool, interesting guys like you in all the time. So, that was probably a huge bonus for her, that she was able to meet somebody like you. She's probably like bored to tears all day.
Yeah.
But you don't normally get that. When you're approaching girls on the street, like, it's a little bit tougher because they're going places. Most of them just kind of want to be left alone. But a lot of them are with it. That was like one of the perfect situations, and like ideal situation for a guy to talk to a girl he's just met.
Okay, cool. That's really helpful. That really gives me some great insight. Okay, cool. So let's move on to the next scenario, which is a little more interesting. And it wasn't exactly successful, I'd say. So I think this is where a lot of the learning can come in. Um, so let me set the scene. I'm at this place called Rundle Mall, which is the main shopping mall of my city. So there's lots of
In Adelaide?
yes, in Adelaide.
Okay.
Yes, so there's like a tiny version of Sydney. So anyway, I'm at the shopping mall and I go into one of the big complexes and I'm going up an escalator. And now this particular day, I'm out with one of my buddies. We were just shopping. I needed to get some clothes. I was getting some new shiny shoes and stuff like that. So we're on the escalator and about with my friend, and about 5 steps up, I noticed this attractive girl around about my age, and she was twiddling her thumbs. She had her face in her phone, and she seemed relatively relaxed, just minding her own business in her phone. And I was kind of feeling in state, as maybe they'd say that day. Like I was feeling just really good. I had energy. I was buzzy. Like what the like fucking whatever. So I turn around and without really thinking. Normally I'd get really nervous, but without really thinking, I'm like, you know what? A split second, I just started talking to her. I said, "Hey, you." I forgot what I said. No, man, I can't remember what I said. It probably doesn't matter, but
That's good. That's good.
Yeah. Fuck. What did I say?
That's good. I typically, that's the same as me now. Like I typically don't remember what I say when I go up and talk to someone because it's coming from the heart.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's right. Anyway, no, I think what the conversation led on to pretty quickly was I was asking her for tips on what she thought would match with my t-shirt. I'm like, oh, I just got this new white t-shirt. What kind of like pants do you reckon it would go with? And I was just asking all these questions about what she thought of matching clothes. I'm like, oh, I'm new to style. I'm new to dressing well. What do you think fits with a white shirt? Now, the way she seemed to react was a little startled, but it was kind of like she was feeling two things. I think one, she liked the attention, and I think I got that through her body language. She was smiling, which is a good sign. She was smiling, but she seemed like a little like, I don't know, like edgy but happy. She got some attention, but a bit of uncertainty. She wasn't really sure about the situation. And what we're doing, we got to the top of the escalator and we're walking along. I give her enough space, so we're about, I don't know, 2 people widths apart. I'm walking alongside her. I don't know where she's going. I didn't ask, but I'm just asking her about what clothes would match me, and she keeps saying, "Oh, I don't know. I don't really know these kind of things." And so I kept on asking her a few more questions, and this pretty much remained the same until I decided I go, well, okay, and then I went back off with my friend. So does that mean anything to you with what I'm saying about how she was kind of excited but nervous at the same time? I don't know. I couldn't gauge what she felt exactly.
Did she seem like she was a shy, quiet girl? Did she strike you as that?
I reckon when she's alone, but I reckon when she's with her friends and she's had time to, like, in a bar, I could imagine her being a little bit more vibrant when she's really comfortable around her friends.
Yeah, I mean,
I think relatively
everybody
quiet.
gets more high energy when they're with their friends.
Yeah.
But it sounds like typically this girl was like pretty shy.
Yeah.
So with girls like that, I think you did the right thing. You maybe give them a little bit of space. I would have actually. She was walking somewhere. You just kind of like walking alongside her.
Yeah, she was going up the escalator, and then I was just walking alongside her. I don't know where she was going.
Okay, I would have like maybe asked her where she was going.
Yeah.
And found out what she was doing. It's like, oh well, I'm going over here. Like, you want to come help us pick out shirts or something like that.
Okay.
That's a good way to like kind of, I guess, of maybe avoid an awkward situation where you're kind of like just walking near her and you're wondering like, where is this going? What's going on? I mean, that's typically my game these days, is where I try to just like, I do a little bit of banter and a little bit of teasing, and then I just go straight into logistics. Cause like, if you get information that, like, let's say you were talking to her, and then at a certain point in time, you find out that she is only in town for a weekend. And she's just here visiting a friend for a weekend. The friend bailed. The friend bailed on her, so she has nothing to do tonight. We found that out.
Yeah.
How awesome would that be?
Yeah, gotcha.
That'd be a pretty good situation, right? So, more often than you would expect. That happens a lot. So, trying to find out logistics pretty quickly, I think is a good thing when you're hitting on girls during the day, just because it reduces a little bit of the awkwardness. It lets you know like what they're up to. That's a big problem when you're talking to strangers, is you don't know what their agenda is or what their goals are. The sooner you figure that out, the easier it is for you to make progress.
Right. Yeah, I really appreciate the insight, man. That's awesome. It's great to hear that perspective of someone who knows their shit. So awesome. Now, just quickly on that, when you said, I probably would have said, "Hey, let's want to come shopping with me and pick out some shirts." Is there much of a difference?
Well, I would have asked what she was doing before then, where she was going.
Yep.
If she was going to go meet her boyfriend, obviously, probably not.
Yeah,
But if she was just kind of by herself wandering the mall, I'm sure she would have loved to come hang out with you guys. I mean, she's probably looking for a friend anyway.
Yeah. What I'm wondering is how stating that request affects a situation. So, is there a difference between saying, "Come over and pick some shirts with me," or "Would you like to come over and pick shirts with me"? One, you're asking for permission. The other one, you're directly saying, "Let's do this. We're doing it."
Okay, so a lot of this type of stuff, and guys stress out about the specific words that they're saying a lot.
Okay.
I think that you shouldn't stress out about whether you ask, "Would you like to come with us?" I mean, you could say that in a funny way, or "You should come with us." Like that, both are totally fine. It just depends how you say it. And I think the way you said it wasn't bad. I mean, it could have been a little better, but just either one of those would have worked great. The fact that you're putting yourself out there and the fact that you're doing it is the most important thing. Don't stress too much about the individual words they use. It doesn't really matter what you say. It's just kind of how you say it.
Okay. Now let's.
And the way you said it, it made it seem like it wasn't that big of a deal. It would just been fun if she could come and pick out shirts with you. It would have been totally chill. So that's the way that you want to do it. What the individual words are, we're talking about even less than 1%. It matters.
Sure. All right, cool. Let's place ourselves back in this mall strip. So it's outdoors. You got all the shops along the side. You're just in a mall strip, and there's lots of passers-by. So let's say we're going to do some day game there along this mall strip, and there's lots of attractive girls walking by. What would you say for you personally, or maybe like for the average guy, what's the common rejection to success ratio when it comes to doing a successful approach and maybe having the girl like you or getting a number? So if you did 10 attempts, how many of them do you think would be successful for a beginner, and then maybe for yourself since you've got more experience?
A beginner? Okay. So there's a couple things. I'm going to give you a little bit of a longer answer than just a straight 1 out of 10, because you can't give stats. It depends on so many factors. I mean, this is multivariable analysis,
right?
as Jordan Peterson would say. So it's a little tough to narrow down the individual parts. But beginner guy, if you got 1 out of 10, I would be super happy for you. I mean, that would be great. For me, I would say 50. That's a ballpark number. It depends on a lot of things. If I'm like really trying, it'll probably go down a little bit, but I'll get, more success in the end. Like my end result will be like, I'll get 3 solid numbers or something like that, or 4 solid numbers. If I'm going really crazy, I could get a bunch. But if I'm kind of like relaxed, like a normal day or something like that, like I'd be happy with just like 1 or 2 solid numbers, and that's great. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to act a little differently. So I'm not going to go running around talking to a bunch of different girls. I'm going to pick one that is kind of at like a shoe shop where she's by herself or something like that. That's a great scenario where I know for sure, like I'm going in there and like there's a really good. The only thing that's going to mess it up for me is if she already has a boyfriend who she's in love with.
Yeah.
That's probably the only thing that's gonna mess. That's probably the only thing that's gonna mess it up for me. I know she's gonna. I know. I have everything else down. So, but I'm in the end. The end outcome was a lot less than if I had gone up to like 20 girls and gotten like I don't know, 5 or 6 numbers or 10 numbers or whatever wherever it would be. So for that, I would only go up and talk to like 1 or 2 girls. If I go up and 1 or 2 girls, it's usually around 50% or higher. But if I start going into like walking up and talking to 20 girls, then it's going to go a lot lower. I don't even know what it would be. I haven't done that for a while. So, but I would imagine it could go as low as like even 10% for me there too.
Okay. All right. Now picture this scenario. Let's say your beginner guy approaches a girl, and maybe like me, he didn't think much about it. He sort of just went into it, and conversation started flowing. So let's say that works for the first 60 seconds. Maybe you ask a few questions like, oh, what are you up to tonight? And she responds, and so where are you from? And she responds. What about when it gets to that point, let's say a minute in, and you start feeling the nerves in you and you go, holy shit, I don't know what to say next. What do you do at that point?
You don't know what to say. Okay, so this is one of the biggest problems that people have when they first start talking is they're just not used to talking to people that they don't know. And a lot of times when you're talking to someone that you've just met or is a little bit nervous, you kind of have to run the conversation. You have to lead, and that's a lot of responsibility for someone who hasn't done that before. When you get good, I typically, if I'm making small talk with a person, like, where are you from? What are you up to? There's usually a couple avenues that I can go down from there that give tons of things for me to talk about. So I asked this girl, let's say we're in Adelaide or whatever, and I asked this girl where she's from, and she says, oh, I'm from Sydney. And I go, oh, cool. How'd you come to Adelaide? And she's like, well, I went to school in Sydney, and then, my friend moved out here, and then she describes it a little bit. Okay, she just gave me like 3 things just from one sentence I could talk about: school, Sydney, friend. Three avenues. Where did you meet your friend? How long have you known her for? Where did you go to school? What did you major in? Oh, that's cool. How did you get into that? Then Sydney. What do you think of Sydney? Do you think Sydney's better than Melbourne? I think Melbourne's better. Then we can have a little argument about that. So there's 3 possibilities that I could have gone down very easily just from small talk. The problem is that a lot of guys, they get the answer and then they're just like, oh shit, I don't have any more questions.
Yeah. Okay.
But if you're really listening and you're present to the conversation, the girls are giving you little pieces that you can tap into all the time. And if they're giving you kind of like these one-word answers, that can be a little bit tougher to deal with. Then you might have to say a few more things. The way you kind of eliminate a lot of the one-word answers is if you noticed, I asked a lot of how questions. How questions are really powerful because they allow the person to tell you a little bit of a story. They give you details. They don't put so much pressure on the person to kind of like really think about things. Like if you asked a girl, like, what's her favorite movie, she's going to have to think about that. And she might not even have a favorite movie. Or if you ask a girl, like let's say I get her, she went to school in Sydney. I go, well, why did you go to school in Sydney? That's kind of like, well, she has to think, well, why did I choose Sydney? I don't really know. Like it was just one of my options, But if you say how did you come to Sydney? Then she's like, well, I went to school there. And that was one of the schools that I got into. And then after, it's just it's a kind of a step-by-step thing. As opposed to the why is like, well, why did I do it? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Why is there tough questions to answer? But you'll get better as you get older.
Right. So is there any other typical scenarios that beginners face that you'd like to address?
Beginner scenarios that I think the number one question is the question that you asked before. A lot of guys are asking me, how can I turn things sexual? They're just having they master the art of going up and talking to women, and they feel pretty comfortable doing it. So their problem is moving to that next step. Okay, well, now you can talk to a girl. Now you can get a number. Well, how do you turn things into? How do you get some real romance going? How do you get some sexual chemistry going with this girl? Like what happens at that next step? It's typically the beginner questions that I get the most. And a lot of times guys are wondering, like, some guys, if they're first starting out, they want to know like cool lines or what do you do in this situation. But I'd actually say the majority of them come down to that point is how do you get things kind of some chemistry or flirting or sexual chemistry going.
Yeah. So it sounds like you don't typically use many canned lines. That's not really sounding like you do that. Or
I don't use any canned lines, but I end up talking about a lot of the same stuff when I'm talking. I mean, when you first meet someone, you don't really know too much about them, so it's tough to get into deep conversations.
Yeah.
But you can't start out with the stuff that which is this is a person, they came from somewhere, they probably went to school somewhere, they might have a job or they're in school right now, and they probably have some interests, then you can work from there.
Man, all this talk's making me want to get out there in the field and do some, but I gotta focus on my business.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't want to use it as an excuse, as like procrastination. So I'm sort of like,
Well, how many days a week are you working? Are you working every single day?
well, like I'm when I say work, I'm working from home, so I'm not
Yeah.
out a lot. Like it's only like once every 2 weeks that I'll go catch up with a business-minded buddy in the city. But when I am in the city, I'm
Okay.
thinking, oh, maybe I should approach, and then I'm like, oh, my
Yeah.
mind makes up an excuse, and it goes, Brandon, you're focused on business. Don't worry about it. Maybe another time.
Well, why don't you try combining the two? Maybe is there some seminars that you were interested in attending in Adelaide or something like that? Have you
uh,
found out about any sort of stuff like that you could attend?
well,
Girls go to those.
you know what? I haven't really looked. I mean, we've got bars and clubs, but I don't really do that. But maybe I should start doing that.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know if I mean, you're obviously not going to do what I did, which is like dedicate 6 nights a week to going out. But you could meet a girl that could potentially be your girlfriend or whatever you're looking for
Hmm.
at one of these events, because like similar interests. Talking to her would be very easy. Like, what did you think of the talk, or what did you think of this? There's events you can go up. I don't know if do you have meetups.com
Yeah,
in Australia?
yeah, we do.
Okay. So you can have meetups.com, and if you start paying attention to certain like business events on Facebook, that's also another good place where you can meet people. I mean, there was a meetup that I went to 2 weeks ago where people are like talking about entrepreneurship stuff, because I'm like doing the YouTube stuff, and
Yeah,
I kind of wanted to learn more influencer stuff. I mean, the meeting turned out to be a complete waste of time. Like, I knew more than what she was talking about,
sure, sure.
but I ended up meeting, like, there was like a bunch of single girls after, and I think I got a number or two
Huh, cool.
when I left. And it was very easy to talk. I mean, they had wine for us already. They usually bring out some refreshments or something like that, so you can combine the two for sure.
Hmm.
Just like find one like once every other week or something like that.
Yeah, I reckon I'm just making excuses. It's my ego, I reckon. Like, there's no reason while I'm already up there. I'm walking, I got some free time. Like, why the fuck not, dude?
Yeah, most of that is what's holding people back.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it does take a little bit of effort. You gotta look up stuff online. So just take 10 or 15 minutes during your day. Maybe look up something on meetups.com and then show up to it.
Yeah, okay.
Or
There's one.
Facebook events
Yeah.
too. Facebook events are also really good as well. Like, people should really be checking those out, because a lot of what your friends are doing, a lot of what shows up is that's how you find out about it. If you're not finding out about things through your social circle or whatever.
Hmm. Right. Okay. I'll keep that in mind. It sounds like, are you more event based, or are you more? Here's one thing. What if you go out to the mall purely to pick up women, and then they ask, why are you here? What do you do? Do you say, I'm here to pick up women? Like, obviously you probably wouldn't say that, but at the same time you don't want to
I
be too.
straight up lie. I straight up lie.
Okay, sure.
I'm never gonna tell him that.
Yeah.
I would just say, I'm picking out shirts for my mom or something like that.
Yeah,
Just
okay.
to say something cute.
Yeah. Yeah, right on.
She's really hard to pick out shirts for.
Yeah, because you can't really say like, oh, I'm here to pick you up. I mean, girls don't work that way, so
Yeah,
I don't
and they
know.
don't even if they find out later that that's what you're doing, like, they kind of want you to just make a silly excuse when you're there. Like, it doesn't really
Yeah, I don't think it's really a big deal, eh?
matter.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, it's not.
if anything, it's where I think I forgot. It was one of the ISD guys that was very passionate about it, but he sees PUA. It might have been Max, and he sees PUA as sort of like a collective benefit to the world. Because the reality is, there are girls out there that want to have a great time, but there's a lot of guys, staying isolated, never coming out of their comfort zone to actually engage with these girls. So in
Yeah,
a sense, it's actually quite a very positive thing, and I think pickup can get a lot of negative attention. I mean, sure, there's some stuff that maybe has
it
gone
can.
down, but I think
Because
people, yeah,
it's the few bad apples. It's the same thing with like cops in America. Like,
yeah,
there are bad cops out there and there are good cops, and unfortunately, we hear a lot about the bad cops on the news
mm,
all the time. So I think the same thing happens with the pickup community.
yeah, that's right. Okay, there's one last thing. I'll give you an opportunity to address anything else you want to shortly. There's one last thing that's really egging my mind, and that is this whole Tinder game thing. So just briefly, I tried it for a little bit and had a little bit of success, like straight up in terms of getting some interest, but nothing beyond that. But about a month ago, I just probably 2 months ago now, I just deleted the app, and here's why. I feel like for me personally, and maybe a lot of other guys, but I'll speak for myself. I feel like Tinder's just the pussy way out. Like you can hide behind your screen and go, "Ooh," without actually getting out there and speaking to a goddamn girl. Like to me, that's just the pussy way
Yeah.
out. That's not getting out of my fucking comfort zone. Why would I do that? Like straight up. So you might disagree with me, but that's my view on it. I fucking deleted it. I want to get out there in the field and fucking confront them.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you actually. A lot of my friends use Tinder. I use Tinder occasionally.
Mm-hmm.
The majority of the girls that I do get though are girls that I meet in real life, and that's the usually the best way to meet people. I mean, if you're going through an app, I find Tinder is very disadvantageous for a lot of guys.
Mm-hmm.
There are ways you can make your profile really good, even if you don't think you're physically attractive, you don't think you're good looking or whatever. You can still make your profile really good by taking very good pictures and showing yourself doing different things.
Yeah.
Um, but I wouldn't make it your sole focus. I think Tinder is not a great way to meet people. It is
Mm.
a way to meet people, and it should be something that you have kind of that
Mm.
you're there. Like I'll get a Tinder date like every couple weeks or something like that, or just meet up with a girl from Tinder every couple weeks. I won't do it very. It's not my primary focus, no,
Mm. And
but it's there. It's there. It's
do
an option,
you, would
and I would
you,
encourage people to use it, but don't
yeah.
don't be for God's sake, don't be spending more time talking to girls in real life
Yeah.
than you do on constantly swiping on the app. I mean, that's just a poor lifestyle choice.
Yeah, yeah. I just want to make sure, like, I'm not against it, but I think, like, when you're starting out, if you get too attached to that hiding behind the screen, I just don't think that's noble. I mean, maybe it helps people ease into it who are very nervous, if they're very nervous guys, and maybe they can sort of work their way up from it. So maybe it does, so I shouldn't criticize, but that's just the way I view it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to. You're not going to better yourself. You're not going to improve a whole lot from just Tinder. You're going to have to do other things as well
Mm.
to improve yourself.
Sure. All right, cool, man. Is there, in regards to the dating scene and pickup advice and everything, is there anything else you want to address personally that I haven't sort of prompted you on?
Well, you kind of hinted at it. I mean, we talked about this a little bit before. I was talking a lot about the problems I think, with a lot of the pickup advice out there. And we've mentioned RSD a couple times. RSD is the biggest company. I know some people that are in the company. They've done a lot of good, and I think they've done a lot of bad.
Mm.
What people I think should realize is that these companies are businesses, are trying to make money,
Mm-hmm.
and that's their primary goal. It's not to help guys out, and there's nothing like that's not good or bad. That's just the way things are. But they do. I would just say, take what they're saying with like a grain of salt. Not everything, but there are guys out there like, dude, Julian.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know. I don't even know what he's doing right now. I think he runs a cult. Honestly, like,
Right.
his whole spiel and everything is great. He's making a lot of money from it. But I worry about the young guys that get consumed by his videos, and that are looking to him for advice on everything.
Mm.
People like Julian, they're very good at a certain thing, but I think they're starting to branch outside and kind of give advice on other aspects of life and things like that. That I don't know if they should be. I don't know if it's the best idea for people to follow those kinds of people. And so one of the things that I wanted to do with my channel is kind of give practical advice. I think when people watch a lot of the pickup videos, you mentioned the term in state.
Mm-hmm.
That's a term that they kind of, I don't know if they made this term up or if they brought it from someone. Definitely being in the zone has been around. That term has been around for a long time.
Yeah.
But I think when people get a little too deep into the pickup, they start using all these different terms like sarging or like amogging and stuff.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it kind of makes you a little weird. And I think in some respects, I find a lot of guys they tend to lose some friends because they get consumed by the pickup stuff. So if you find that happening to you, I would just kind of take a look and see, maybe I've taken this a little what they're saying a little too far, and I should stop watching some videos and go out a little more.
Mm.
And then once you do that, you go out, you make friends, and you do that sort of stuff. Then you can actually start executing stuff that they're talking about, rather than just being in kind of a different world where you're just staring at the videos that they make on your computer screen, and taking advice from them in areas that they really have no business giving advice for.
Right. Yeah. So I know you've definitely, without a doubt, got a lot more experience in the field than I do. So I think you're more qualified than I to make an accurate judgment on the RSD guy's intentions. And like I've talked to Max, and I think it was Julian that
A lot of them are cool guys. I love Max. I like his stuff.
Yeah. And
it's sometimes when you have that many people following you, when you're making like a lot of money, like it's easy to kind of like you can buy into some of the stuff that you're saying,
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not saying any of you guys are bad. I love them. I love a lot of their stuff. It's just I think sometimes it gets taken a little too far.
Okay, sure. Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, I was just going to ask about Tyler, because I watch him a lot, and he seems like very passionate about what he does. And obviously,
I don't like Tyler.
No, don't like Tyler. Oh, that's interesting. Do you want to talk about it, or do you want to skip?
I just know people that have met him.
Okay.
I just know that have met him, hung out with him, and like, if you read the book The Game,
Yes.
I thought a lot of the stuff that they wrote about him, I thought that was like completely out of line. I thought what Neil Strauss wrote was like, I was like, he's really going to talk this badly about this person? Like, that's a huge dick move. And so I kind of grew up in life thinking that he was like this victim. But a lot of the stuff that he says in the book, I know guys that have worked with him, and it's not all where there's a lot of smoke, there's definitely a fire at some point. And he's a good hardworking dude. But there was a guy who in the company called Todd. I don't know if you know him.
Yeah, I vaguely heard his name around. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually really like Todd. I think Todd from RSD is a really good guy. He got kicked out. He got fired. And there was a big controversy about it, and just some of the stuff that's come out.
Yeah.
From that, it's kind of revealed stuff that we all suspected that was going on there.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I've met Tyler briefly. I've hung out with him briefly, and I like a lot of the stuff that he's saying. I used to watch all of his videos as well. But he's a very there's a reason why RSD is the biggest pickup company.
Yeah, right.
There's a reason why it makes so much money, and he can charge as much as he can for his boot camps. And he will continue to do so.
Yeah, right on. All right, interesting.
He's a very shrewd and good businessman. I'll tell you that.
Sure. Okay. I reckon I'll have to get out in the field a bit more before I refine my thoughts on these things. But yeah, all right, awesome. Thanks for sharing your perspective. Yeah. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. Hey, there's a guy who I've been kind of going back and forth with, and I think he lives in Adelaide. His name's
Bradicus. What, you talked to?
Yeah, you know him?
I know of him, but I haven't met him yet.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I was just wondering if you knew about him. I mean, he's in the area. He's always posting stuff. I think he's kind of funny and a cool guy.
Yeah. So. I think he moved to Sydney, but when I found out he was from Adelaide and he was like in Adelaide doing game, like, what the hell? Nothing happens in Adelaide. And then there he is out in Glenelg picking up girls. Like,
yeah, he's making it happen. Good for him.
Yeah,
good for him.
Yeah. Yeah, and you can see in his early videos, he started out just like any ordinary guy, and bam, like he's killing it. Yeah, I reached out for some coaching actually, but I think he's in Sydney, so it hasn't quite worked out, and I'm not that dedicated right now to fly all the way out there because I'm focused.
I was going to recommend that you hit him up for some of that sort of stuff. I think he'd be down, honestly. I mean, like I don't think he's like too booked up right now. I mean, I know he's flying out to different places to coach guys. Maybe that's why he's been flying around a lot lately, so maybe that's why he was doing it. But I can hit him up for you if you want.
Yeah, you could give me a mention. Maybe I could even get him here on the channel and have a chat. That's pretty cool. That would be pretty cool too.
That'd be good. That'd be awesome.
We could do like an infield. We could do an infield collab. Like maybe I could talk to Braddock and be like, hey, I'll film you if you film me. Maybe I can help him film one of his videos and maybe do some kind of covert shit because not many people are willing to do that. I'd do it. Whatever. I'd try it. And then maybe he could film a video of me. We could do some kind of collab. I reckon that'd be sick.
Yeah. Well, have you seen his infield? He has tons. He already has. I think he already has interns or whatever, like shooting video for him.
Yeah. I've seen a little bit of his early stuff. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
All right. Is there anything else you want to address at all? Anything else you want to say?
No, just other than like, if you guys, I don't know if anyone's stayed to the end and paid attention to what I've been saying. But this is kind of what my channel is all about. It's about giving guys. I want to give guys practical advice that's gonna help them out of real situations. I'm not gonna try and teach them all the tricks or gimmicks or something like that. This is all fundamentals. And my goal is really for people to not look of it as pickup. It's really, the goal is that to like just engineer their lifestyle, to make to be able to meet the girls that they want, to be able to get the girls that they want, and really eliminate a lot of the hard stuff that I went through by following a lot of the advice that I found online when I was coming up.
Mm. Right on, too easy. Yeah, I'll leave your links in the description. So you guys listening in, just head to the description if you want to check out Lloyd's channel. I'll put a little comment in the comment box as well. Yeah, you can check Lloyd out there. So yeah, thanks again for coming on. This is pretty spontaneous, Lloyd.
No problem. We did this like immediately. Like, I was like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, I was just feeling in the zone. It's my day off. You know what? This is kind of fun. I'm curious. Let's do it. Why not? And here we are.
Cool, awesome. Well, I thought this was great, Brandon. Anytime you wanna talk again, I'm totally down.
Yep. All right. Sounds good. With that said, I'll leave you off.
All right. Yeah, I gotta go to bed. It's actually like 11:30 here.
All right. Too easy. Thanks for staying up.
All right. See you, buddy.
All right. Catch.